Alright, so just ahead of the Eagles and 49ers matchup, Birds corner James Bradberry responded to Deebo Samuel calling him trash, and in addition, several of his teammates also gave their takes on all the trash talk coming from the Niners. Meanwhile, Brandon Graham and the Eagles are really embracing the role of the underdog this week as the Birds continue to be disrespected despite having the best record in the NFL. Also, Kevin Byard seems to think that the Niners may be the Eagles' toughest test yet, and ahead of the matchup, the Eagles just signed a new wide receiver, but what does that mean for the chances of them still bringing in Shaq Leonard, and also, could they find a way to bring back this Eagles legend? Well, let's talk about all that, so we won't waste any time, let's get straight into it. Okay, so just days after the 6'6", 335-pound monster that is Jordan Davis made headlines for chasing down Josh Allen in a crucial moment of the game, reaching a top speed of 16.5 miles per hour, Davis is showing that he's multi-talented, as with Jason Kelce and the Eagles offensive line continuing to release their Christmas album, they dropped a short video of Jordan Davis singing on the album, and I gotta say, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I was so nervous. Goodness gracious, this is excruciating. All right.
Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore.
My God. I love the sound of your voice, man.
Shucks, man. Thank y'all.
I mean, I guess if you're a massive human being and you happen to play for the Philadelphia Eagles, then you're just automatically gifted the voice of an angel, because that's honestly the only explanation I can think of at this point. And the fact that this guy's an absolute beast on the field only makes this more unbelievable, as Davis has had a phenomenal second season in the league so far, so huge thumbs up for that and his incredible singing ability, and once again, huge credit to Howie Roseman for making the move to trade up and snag him in the 2022 draft. And speaking of Howie Roseman, he went out and made a somewhat surprising roster move on Thursday as he signed former Washington wide receiver Cam Sims to the practice squad, who in his 5 years in DC played a limited role as he racked up just 57 catches for 804 yards and 3 touchdowns, his best year being 2020 where he had over 400 receiving yards. Now, I do like the fact that Sims is 6'5" and on the younger side, so overall I like the addition, and even though I doubt he really makes any impact this year barring injuries at the wide receiver position, I think he may be a good developmental piece to have on the practice squad. But then you gotta ask, how does this move impact the likelihood of the Eagles still going out and signing Shaq Leonard? As after the former All-Pro visited with both Dallas and Philly on back-to-back days, he's now reportedly taking until the weekend to decide where he wants to go, so it is worth noting that even if he does choose to go to Philly, they won't have him for this week's game. But just going back to that question, I highly doubt that this move in any way would impact the possibility of a Shaq Leonard signing, because obviously the Eagles want to have their roster fully filled up going into their game this week, and with Leonard taking until the weekend to decide, they're not just going to leave an open spot on their roster. And also, if Leonard does decide he wants to come to Philly, they can just make a move to open up a roster spot, which we see them do all the time, so I have no concern there. I'm personally confident that he's going to choose the Eagles, but regardless of which of the two teams he does pick, he'll be facing the other one in his first game, as the Eagles and Cowboys will match up next week, so that'll definitely be interesting to watch. But let me know what you guys think. Where will Shaq Leonard end up? Will it be Philly or Dallas? Now, speaking of potential roster moves, we gotta talk about this insane possibility, because it seems like an Eagles legend may be coming home soon, as JJ Watt of all people reported today that Zach Ertz recently requested his release from the Cardinals, and they have granted it, so he now plans to go and sign with a contender to make a run for his second Super Bowl ring, and no team makes more sense than the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, one, just from an emotional and nostalgic standpoint, Zach is an Eagles legend. He obviously was drafted by the Birds in 2013 and played 8.5 great seasons with them, helping them win their first Super Bowl, as among other things, he caught the game-winning touchdown, and he also broke several records, both for the franchise and just for the NFL in general while he was with the team. He was then traded to the Cardinals in 2021 in the middle of the season, and upon his departure, he was really emotional in leaving Philly.
This is home. Philadelphia is home. I love this place. I've said it all along. And it's a great opportunity to be here, and I loved it here.
And I was also pretty broken up about it too.
Thank you, Zach Ertz, for everything you've done for Philadelphia Eagles.
Look at this dude.
I'd really like to think that I've come a long way since then, but then moving on, last year at the Super Bowl, which of course was in Arizona, Eagles reporter John Clark spoke with Ertz, and it seemed like he was very open to a return to Philadelphia at some point.
And who knows what's going to happen with my career going forward. God obviously knows, but who knows what will happen.
Would you retire an Eagle?
I mean, yeah, eventually I'll, of course, retire an Eagle. It's just whether we're going to play again for the Eagles, but who knows?
So now Ertz has that chance to come back, and it might also be his best opportunity to contribute. I mean, it definitely can be seen right now that with Goddard out, the Birds really don't have much depth at tight end from a receiving standpoint, and Ertz could provide that. Sure, he wouldn't have a big role, but he could be a guy that could contribute in certain spots and also be someone who's a great leader and presence in the locker room. Now, right now, Ertz has been on IR since week 7 with a quad injury, but I'd assume he's very close to returning, and I think that there's no way he would have requested to be released least right now, if he wasn't just about ready to come back, so I don't think that should be a problem. So again, sure, Ertz isn't the player that he once was, but he does still have a decent amount of ability, and I think he could be a great addition as the Eagles try and make this Super Bowl run. So Howie Roseman, you know what to do. Bring him home.
Why don't you send him home? His bags are packed. He's got his airplane tickets. Bring him to the airport. Send him home.
But now, getting back to the matchup with the 49ers this week, obviously there's a lot of hype with this being a rematch of the NFC Championship game and everything, but Nick Sirianni is making sure to keep his guys focused, as he's taking a very similar approach to the Chiefs game, as he said, quote, "This is different. This is 2023, it's not 2022. Very similar to the Chiefs game, there's different players on both teams. One of our better players from last year is on their team. This is about the 2023 Eagles versus the 2023 Niners." So again, no surprise, but always glad to hear that Nick and the Eagles are locked in and trying to focus on the present and not the past. But someone who we know can't let the past go is Deebo Samuel, who of course, it's been well documented at this point, all the trash he's talked on the Eagles throughout the entire offseason. I mean, the list of things he said is honestly ridiculous, and Eagles Nation put it all together here, as since the NFC Championship, Deebo has called James Bradberry trash, said the 49ers would have won by double digits if Purdy didn't get hurt. He ended an interview early because they kept asking him about the NFC Championship. He said the Niners played with 10 people in the NFC Championship, and he also said that they were hands down the better team than the Eagles, plus he also guaranteed a win against the Eagles this season, and he said the Eagles are his most hated team, and he also said that he was tired of Eagles fans and players.
Gonna cry?
No.
The amount of crying is honestly crazy, and this week, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, he doubled down on his comments, including calling James Bradberry trash. So naturally, James Bradberry was asked for his response to Deebo's comments, and this is what he said.
I just approach one day at a time. You know, of course, I don't really necessarily like what he said. Wish you would have used a better word, you know, to describe my play. But it is what it is. And at the end of the day, all I can do is control my work ethic. You know, what I do day to day.
That's a grown man right there. He's not crying, he's not getting all emotional. He honestly handled that perfectly, so thumbs up for Bradberry taking the high road. And his teammates also took the high road when asked about the 49ers' constant trash talk, including Brandon Graham, who also seems to be embracing the Eagles' underdog role ahead of the game. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to say if you are enjoying this video or finding it informative in any way, and you're part of the 75% of people that hasn't done so already, make sure you go down, subscribe, and turn on notifications very importantly so you don't miss when any videos just like this are uploaded. I think that's a win-win for both of us. I mean, I get more people watching the videos, and you don't miss any more Eagles content just like this. And also, while you're at it, if you're enjoying the video, make sure you hit the like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And now with that being said, let's get back into the video. So James Bradberry's teammates were also asked about the comments Deebo made about James, and they all kind of took the high road as well, including Jordan Mailata, who, if you remember back to the Chiefs game, he had said that he was taking that game personally, not to mention that Mailata is a guy who always stands up for his teammates, and while that remains true, he says he's also making sure he doesn't make those comments into a distraction.
Yeah, it irks me. I'd be lying if I said, you know, it irks me, but you know, we have to learn to kind of put that aside. It's probably my biggest takeaway from the KC game was just, you know, I had to learn how to let last year go and focus on the game plan and execute it. So, you know, we'll see what happens this week.
You gotta love that mentality from Mailata. And I also love Kevin Byard's mentality, as of course with him being new to the Eagles and Niners rivalry, he's also making sure that all the hype and trash talk doesn't take away the focus from what's actually important.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like trash talking isn't going to win the game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that anybody should really get too much into it, because at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play football. You know, and I don't think that the team is going to go out there. The team that trash talks the most is going to the team that wins the game. It's really going to be about who executes the keys to victory.
So again, I love what Byard said there. They just have to remain focused on what's important, which is going out and doing what's necessary to prepare and get a win this week. And I must say, I'm starting to become a huge fan of Kevin Byard, because really ever since he's got here, he's established himself as a leader, and I think that's really helped this team a lot. And now hopefully him and the Eagles can go out and get a win in this rivalry matchup with the 49ers, although it definitely won't be easy, because the 49ers are a fantastic team, and Byard even admitted that this may be the Birds' toughest test yet.
We faced some really good teams, even since I've been here. But I would definitely say that 49ers is one of the best teams in the NFL. That's clear. What they can do on offense, how their defense plays as well. It's going to be, you know, at least up until this point, since I've been here, it's probably be our biggest test.
Now, apparently, Vegas agrees with Byard there, as for some reason, despite the fact that the Eagles are 10-1 and have a 2-game lead on the Niners while being home for this game, they still have the 49ers as a 3-point road favorite, putting the Eagles back in a familiar situation of being the underdog. So, one member of the team that was also here for those underdog days back on the run to Super Bowl 52 is embracing that role, as Brandon Graham said this when he was asked about how he feels about the Niners being favored, despite the Birds being 10-1 and at home.
You're underdogs. How do you feel about that?
You know what? I don't feel no way, because I'd rather it be that way anyway, because we ain't done nothing yet. We ain't even put together a whole game together, but I know what we do have and what we need to get better. I know for us, we 10-1. It's not that don't mean anything because we don't hold that ring, and so we just got to make sure we're getting better as the season go. I love how we fight. I mean, that's one thing we got going for ourselves, but we got to make sure that we stay together and stay with the mindset of execution, because that's really how you win these games is, you know, who can execute the longest.
So again, that's the perfect mentality to have. Just stay focused on what's important, which is the execution, and that'll give the Eagles the best chance to win. That being said, you know this matchup is going to be heated, and BG's undoubtedly going to do some trash talking himself.
What do you have cooked up for Deebo?
I guess you got to watch out and find out. You know what I'm saying?
7-1. Don't think I ain't going to come get you. I'm coming to get you. Oh, yeah, 7-5. I see you on film, boy.
He ain't blowing hot there, I promise you. Now he gonna do it the whole game.
I just lost breath talking. Woo, my chest. Talking. I say I'm talking too much. I say, whoo, calm down, be deep breath. Woo.
Dude, Brandon Graham's a national treasure. But right now, I do want to take a minute to say thank you to you guys. I mean, the support recently on all the videos and on the channel has been incredible. We just hit 27,000 subscribers just a few days ago. It feels like we're hitting milestone after milestone after milestone. So again, thank you to every single one of you guys who watches the videos. I truly do appreciate each and every single one of you. And hey, let's try and hit 30,000 before the end of the year. And if you're one of those people that hasn't yet subscribed but are watching the videos, we're going to have plenty more coverage and videos leading into this matchup as well as after the matchup and just throughout the rest of the season. So again, make sure you go down, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Also, drop a like on this video if you did enjoy it and want to show some support. And leave a comment down below just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you want to watch another video talking about how Hassan Reddick called out the 49ers for crying, as well as Jason Kelce ripping Bills defensive tackle Jordan Phillips for playing dirty, you can go check this out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.